In this lecture, we are going to look at the ComboBox element. It is an element that allows the user to choose between different options. If you come to Qt Creator, go to Tools, Options, and choose Build and Run here. You're going to have an option here, Stop Application Before Building. I just want you to see that a ComboBox is something like this. You click on it and you are given a few options you can choose from, and you choose one by clicking on it. Let's create a new project, Qt Quick Application. We call it ComboBox Demo. Hit Next. Choose our Qt version. We want these two kits. We are working on desktop in this demo. We change the title to ComboBox Demo. And we should put in our import for Qt Quick Controls. Controls 2.4. That's what we want. Down here, we want to put a column element. We want the spacing to be 40. And we want its width to be the same as the parent. Inside, we want to put a label element. And the label element is really like a text element. If we click on it, hit F1, go in full help mode, you're going to see that the label element extends text with styling and font inheritance. It really is a text that is enhanced with more features. So you can give it some text to show. And we are going to say non-editable combo, because this is what we want to show off, a combo box that you cannot edit. We want its wrap mode to be label, wrap. We want it to be aligned in the center, so we're going to say horizontal alignment, Qt align horizontal center, and we want it to have the same width as its parent. Okay, we put a label to keep things organized and so that you can know what we are aiming at. Down here, we are going to put a ComboBox element. Okay, let's look at its documentation. Click on F1, go in full help mode, and you're going to see it is a combined button and pop-up list. This is a better explanation actually. When you click on it, there's a pop-up list that shows with the options that you can choose, okay, and you use it like this. The model property allows you to give it a list of things that it can show, and we are going to use this in a moment. Let's give it an ID. Okay, this is the ID we want. Let's close this. We want to give it the data to show using the model property. We put this in an array, so let's say 1, 2, this should do. We want it to be in the center horizontally too, so we can say anchors horizontal center equals parent horizontal center. And we want to know when somebody selects something in the combo box. If we go back to the documentation and look at its signals, there is one signal that is called activated, and it is emitted when an item at index, this index is activated by the user. Okay, so we can say on activated, this is the handler we want. And inside this handler, we want to output the element that was selected. And there is another property that should give us that on a plate, and that one is current text. So we can say console log. We want to put the current index inside square brackets, so we're going to do something like this. Okay, we first want to show the index, which is current index. This is another property of the ComboBox element. If you go there, you see that it is this property that holds the index of the current item in the ComboBox. Okay, we are going to append the current text to show the current element, and we are going to append a string literal that says is activated. Okay, you're going to see what I mean when we run this. Let's run the application. You see that when we click on the combo box here, we have a list of options. We can select 1 through 4. For example, if we select 3, it says 2, the index, and it says the text, and it says is activated. Okay, the index for 3 is 2 because the indexes start from 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, and the last one should be 3 index, and it says the text, and it says it is activated. I hope this shows you how you can capture the currently selected item in the combo box. And another thing that is not obvious is how you give your combo box a list of things it can show. Okay, this is a model property. We haven't really talked about models in Qt Quick. We are going to talk about that later in the course. But for now, know that it is a way you feed the data to show to the combo box. And this is really what we did here. Now you know how to work with a non-editable combo box that you feed static data using the model property here. The next thing we want to do is to use an editable combo box that we can add data to at runtime. Okay, we're going to call this editable. It's really going to be the same, the other properties. And we are going to copy this combo box and give it a bunch of other properties. Okay, we are going to call it editable combo because we want to edit it. And we want to set its editable property to true to make it editable. Okay, another thing I want you to see now is that you can feed this with an explicit model. We are going to use a model that we call list model. We are going to give it an ID of model. And again, I haven't really explained models in Qt Quick. For now, I just want you to have something to show in the combo box and just look at how I do things here. Don't focus on the model stuff. Focus on how they feed data to the combo box. Okay, I'm going to try and explain it as I go. To save some time, I am going to put a list of elements inside this model. Let's hit Control A and Control I to align things. I just put these list elements. List element is an element that allows you to add items to the model. Okay, you see that we have objects inside. We have an attribute of text and an attribute of location. We have a few animals inside. We have a dog, chicken, cat, and meerkat. And the location, Kigali, Beijing, Mumbai, and Paris. Just look at this as a way to feed data to the combo box. Don't focus on the details of how this works. I am going to have a chance to explain this when we talk about models and views in Qt Quick. Because our list element has two attributes, we need to specify which attribute is going to be shown in the list model, just like we saw 1, 2, 3 in the first combo box here. The way you do that, you specify a text role property, and you pass in the name of the attribute that you have in your model here. And this name should be in quotes, don't forget that. And by now, if we run the application, let's see what we see. You see that our elements are showing inside. We have a dog, chicken, cat, and meerkat. You can see that this combo box is different from what we had before because it allows us to change the data inside. For example, if we say dog111 and hit enter, we see that our data is not added to the model. Why is that? This is because you didn't capture the onAccepted signal of the combo box. If we go back to the documentation for the combo box element, look at signals, the accepted signal is emitted when the return or enter key is pressed on an editable combo box. So we need to capture this signal and manually add the data to the model. And before we do that, I want you to look at another property, which is called edit text, which contains the text that the user typed in the combo box to add to the model. We are going to use these two things. Let's come down here and say on accepted. But before we add the item to the model here, we need to check if the combo box doesn't have this element already. For example, if you try to add dog again, while dog is here, we should be able to detect that and not add it again. The way you do that, you use the method that is provided by this element, which is called find. Okay, it is here in methods. This method returns the index of the specified text, or -1 if no match is found. So what we can do is say if find edit text, because edit text is the text that the user typed in the combo box. If we cannot find it in the combo box already, this is going to return -1. And this is when we want to add the element to the model. So we're going to say model, which is the ID of our model, and say append. And we are going to append an object. Okay, we are going to say text, edit text. And because our model takes 2 attributes in list elements, we can add a dummy location like location, let's say US. Why not? Can we do that? Let's try this. If we run this, okay, you see that we have our 4 elements. If we delete this and say Buffalo, hit enter, and look down again, you see that we have Buffalo. And if we select it, you see that index 4 has been added, and it is Buffalo. Okay, we can manually add data to our model here. Let's add giraffe. Hit enter. Look down, you see we have buffalo and we have giraffe. The last thing I want to show you is how you can manually capture the current element without having to select another one. Sometimes you need that. Let's go down here and add a button element. You already know how to use a button. The text is going to say capture current element. We want it to be in the center, so we're going to copy this and put this here. And when it is clicked, we want to capture the current element and show it in the debug output. So we're going to say console log. We want to get the text and the location of the list element here for the current item that is selected in the combo box. The way you do that, we want to put things in square brackets like this. So we want to say inside here model get. Okay, this is a method that is provided by the model. It basically returns this list element object, and then you can call these properties using the dot notation. I am going to show you what I mean. So I am going to say editable combo box ID current index. Okay, when you do this, this is going to return the list object that is the currently selected item, and we can say text to get its text. We are going to put a colon here and add its location. So we're going to say model get all these things and put this on the next line so that things are readable a little bit and say location. I hope this makes sense. This is a method for the list model here that gets the list element at a given index. We are passing the current index, and when we get the object here, we capture the text by saying dot text here, and we capture the location by saying dot location. We're going to run the application. Okay. If we click on capture current element, you see that it says dog Kigali, which is what we have. Our dog is located in Kigali. Let's add our own element and say buffalo. Remember that the elements we add manually are going to be located in the US by default, because that's what we did here. Okay. If we say this, buffalo is going to be added to the list. If we get the current element, we are having buffalo located in the US. Let's add giraffe. It's also going to be in the US. Okay, select chicken. It's going to be in Beijing. Select giraffe. It's going to be in the US. Okay, giraffe US. I realize this is a bit useless because the location is hard-coded in here, but it is not difficult to get the location from another location in your application and use it here. I just wanted you to have a way to read the data that is stored in a model that you specified explicitly to your ComboBox here. And by now, you have all the information you need to work with the non-editable ComboBox and an editable ComboBox. Okay, you can pass in static data like this, or you can pass in an explicit model like this. Okay, don't forget to set the textual property for your model when you do it like this, because when you forget it, your ComboBox is not going to know what it needs to show in here. Okay, if we comment this out and run the application, we are going to have an error. The ComboBox is not going to know what it needs to show. This is an internal error for the ComboBox because it doesn't really know what to show. You need to set this property to have a model that you set like this to work. This covers all I had to say in this lecture. In the next one, we're going to look at a component called a delay button. I'll see you there.